Today's video, I'm going to share with you guys the 8 things parents want most from your training business. First one is confidence, right? So player confidence. So something I noticed, especially in the early stages of my business, was that at the way the game is shifting and going, something that is really important to parents is their kids being confident. Right now, confident could mean a number of different things, right? It could be confident off the field, it could be confident on the field, right? But because we run a business and what we tend to do is we build player confidence, right? What parents are looking for is for their child to be confident when they step onto a pitch, right? A pitch, a field, and that could be whether that be on the training pitch with their team or whether that be on a Saturday or Sunday weekend when they're playing in their matches for their academy or club teams. Okay. So what parents want is confidence that their child isn't going to be afraid of the moment and that they're going to go out there, they're going to play with tremendous spirit, with confidence, and they're not going to let that moment affect them, right? Whether they make a mistake, they pick themselves back up and they continue going, all right? So the first thing that you should be looking to do is to help players to build their player confidence. Right, now the second one is better first touch. Right, the way the game is going at the moment, the first touch is massively important. Right, that is what essentially coaches, scouts, college coaches, right? That is what one thing that a lot of them look for. Okay, can you help players to better their first touch? Right, whether that be in a pressured situation where they're being closed down from a defender by a defender, right? And they might have their back to the defender, or simply receiving it without any pressure, but receiving it properly with the right foot and with the right technique. Okay. So better first touch in today's market is really important, right? And if you want to sell this to parents, okay, the best way to sell it is to demonstrate to them the importance of having a good first touch, especially the way soccer is going now, in that it's very fast paced and players don't tend to have a lot of time on the ball. So making sure that you have a good first touch is a great selling point to parents, right? And it's something that parents definitely will invest if you can demonstrate that you're helping their child to get their first touch better. Now the third one is more playing time. Okay, so if you're working with a player and they're not getting many minutes on their club team, right? Finding a solution to that problem is where the money is at. And if you can solve that problem, that is where parents are willing to invest a lot of money into working with you. Okay. Now, first of all, you need to understand why they aren't getting playing time. Okay. Is it, again, it might be they don't have a really good first touch. Is it that they're low on confidence when they get out onto the field? They're scared to make mistakes. Is it that maybe they need work on their speed, on their agility, right? So first of all, you've got to do a deep dive on what is the problem that player is having, why they aren't getting enough playing time, and then creating a solution to that problem. So that solution could be a 4 to 6 week intense program where we work on this, this, and this. And as a result, and once those intense 4 to 6 weeks are done, your child should be getting more minutes on their team. Okay, so showing parents the problem, showing parents the solution, and showing parents the pathway to that solution is how you make more money in your business. Okay. Now, the fourth one is technical improvement. Okay, so this is kind of similar to better first touch, but technical improvement can come in a number of ways. Could be helping players with their striking, with their finishing, with their heading, with their passing, with their dribbling, right? So focusing your program on technical improvement is where the money is at as well. And that is what parents are looking for. They don't want a generalist anymore, right? We've got to the point now in this industry where there's so many private coaches that parents are now looking for specialists. So what can you specialize in to help with technical improvement? So passing, receiving, shooting, striking, finishing, heading, right? You might be working with goalkeepers, you might be working with midfielders, with wingers, right? So making sure that you're developing players, or you're focusing on one single area of the game where you can specialize and improve players that way. The next one is individual attention, right? Something parents want and something that's going to separate you from club teams is that individual attention to players. Okay. That is one of the reasons why parents are going to invest into your program, is because they want their child to get the most attention possible from their coach. Because when they go to their club teams probably have 10 to 15 players at once that they have to deal with. Coaches aren't giving them the necessary individual attention that is required to help that player develop. So if you can provide individual attention with the other things that I'm about to share with you in this video, then your business is going to skyrocket, right? You'll be able to charge a lot more. You're going to add more value to your business, right? And you will ultimately, what we all want is to get results with the players that we're working with, right? So individual attention is one thing parents are looking for. And how do we do that? We create programs that are minimal groups, well, minimal amount of players. So 1-on-1, 2-on-1, small groups, maybe groups of 4, where you can make sure that every player is getting that attention. So creating programs that have minimal amount of numbers, and that is very different to what players and parents are getting with their club teams. Next one is measurable progress. Okay, this is, since I've been working with coaches, and since I've been coaching as well, measuring progress has been one thing that coaches lack. Okay. Now, especially the coaches that I work with, this is something that I really help them with, because what parents want to see is my child getting better, right? Is the investment that we're making into your business having a result on the child, right? So are we getting a return on our investment? A lot of coaches ignore this, okay, because they believe that just showing up, running a training session is ultimately going to get results, right? But sometimes players and parents need to see that progress, okay? Now, I've got a number of ways that I can help you with this, but what I want you to do is book a call with me. Let's talk, and I can show you a number of ways that we can implement progress tracking into your business, so that parents, right, once they see there's progress, once they see in results, they will stay in your business and in your program for a lot longer. Next one is coaches with professional or academy backgrounds, right? Now, again, this is something that is becoming, well, it's something that is separating certain coaches from certain coaches, right? We are getting into a time now where there's so many private coaches entering this field for whatever reason. Some of them are just, they don't like club team training and they want to work with players individually. Some of them enter it as a side hustle. But a lot of coaches are also entering this because they're seeing other coaches do it and they're like, oh, this looks cool. But they've got no experience working with different age groups. They've got no experience of actually running a business. They've got no experience selling, right? So there's no background, there's no experience working within the game. So something that's going to start to separate the newer coaches and the ones that don't have experience with the ones that are very experienced and that have a nice, wealthy background behind them is, right, they have that professional or academy background where they've worked at certain levels that players and parents want to get to. Okay, so now when a parent is looking for a trainer, they're going to start to ask you questions, right? What is your playing background? What was the highest level you got to? And if you have experience playing at a really high level and a level that a lot of players want to get to, okay, you ultimately become, right, a lot more sellable than a coach just entering with very little experience. Okay, so that's just something to take into account as well. If you're a new coach entering this market and this industry, right, get experience first, right? Work with players one-on-one in small groups, do camps, do residential camps, work with work with youth teams, get as much experience as possible. And then once you feel that you've hit the top, the ceiling, that's when we then look into transitioning, right? How can we now turn your coaching philosophy into a business? Okay. So coaches with professional or academy backgrounds is something that parents are starting to seek and look for. So if you can become a specialist in one area of the game, if you can get results, if you can show progress within your program, and if you have experience at the professional or academy level, right, you become very valuable to parents, especially in today's market. Okay, and then the last one, clear development plan. All right, so this is kind of connected with measurable progress, but development plan is that there's a plan in place when a parent joins your program. So if I am a coach and I'm offering an 8-week intense one-to-one or small group program, right, I need to have a clear development pathway for that player. Okay, and I need to be able to show that parent, right, week 1 is going to look like this. Week 2 is going to look like this. By week 3, your child should be already progressed and should be doing this. Week 4 looks like this. Week 5, and so on until you get to the end of your program, where you've shown, right, from week 1, your child was struggling with this. We got halfway through the program and already they were able to use their left foot a lot better. By the end of week 8, right, now they're able to use both feet, left and right, okay, in tight spaces. They're able to shoot, they're able to pass, they're able to receive. So, and they're able to essentially, okay, play now at a better level than they were at week 1. Okay, so having a clear development plan in place for that client is going to make your business more valuable. It's going to make your business look a lot more professional, and parents are going to be willing to invest into a coach that shows them a pathway to success. Okay, so coach, thank you for watching. I know this was a bit of a longer video, right, but it was 100% necessary. If you need any help or you have any questions, get in contact with me. Description below, that's going to be the best way to do that. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, because we're putting out so much content on a weekly basis that's going to help you with your business, right? Most of the content, well, if not all the content, is free. So it'd be silly not to subscribe to the channel, to watch the content that we put out, to take notes, to engage yourself. And if you need help or you want to work with me, then description below, that's going to be the best place to do that. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.